I know I'm not the only one that has a severe dispassion for hollow core doors. I know they fit the bill. They're budget friendly. They're easy to install, but man, they're not only very pretty to look at, but they're just usually really boring. So here I am, Larissa Prodigal Pieces, back for another remodel update. I know it's been a while since I've come to you with a new video, so I'm taking the time. My family and I have been very busy and looking forward to sharing with you some other remodels we've had going on besides this hallway, which attaches to my living room here. We've got a bedroom almost done, much more coming up. So take a second and either scroll up to the top of my blog screen here. You can sign up for my free email newsletter. You can sign up for bi-weekly or as often as you want to get my new blog posts in your email inbox. No strings attached, don't share any information. You even get a freebie and a discount to my online shop. All right, let's take a look what we have here. We bought this house about 20 years ago and it had a lot wrong with it. I call it the half-wit house, meaning that people did things and they did improvements, but they necessarily didn't do it as best as they could. They could have done it a little better. This is a Gunnison home, so it's a pre-manufactured home from the 1950s, and it's better built than modern-day manufactured home, but it's not as nice as a stick-built home. So with that came some swipes of convenience to fit the budget, right? So we have the hollow core doors here, and what I did originally we planned to save up doors that I could find here and there. I didn't even care if they were mismatched as long as they were solid wood. I thought it'd be neat to have them all painted the same color, but maybe panels would be different, something unique that make the home story. Long story short, I tried to strip said doors and I felt like my life was worth more than the hours and weeks it would take for me to blast them off, because a lot of them were covered with the unsafe paints, the lead in it, and I didn't want to have to go through all that. So because this isn't my forever home, I wanted to just do what I could to make this appealing on a budget and get it done quickly, because I've had so much to do in the house. All right, so if you take a look here, this is my hollow core door, which I added panels on with this wood, and then I did a faux wood graining treatment to kind of give it an aged appeal. I'm going to show you how to do that. Quick steps, easy peasy, done quickly. I had, of all of the 7 doors in the house, 6 of them are right here, so I had to do them all pretty much at the same time. The other one's just around the corner at my entry, so had 7 to do, and I got them done by myself fairly quick, so I know you can do this too. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Email me. I'm willing to answer blog comments, anything you have, but let's take a look at this process. When we moved into our home back in 2003, we found hardwood floors under a plush carpet, a white carpet. Then we have the hollow core doors, we have the low ceiling that's stippled, we did that many years ago, and that wicked sconce sticking out. I tore down the ceiling and exposed the ductwork there. Had a lot of help from my kids. That's my oldest daughter there, helped me remove trim. Then I wanted to match the arch like we did in our kitchen. You can see that in another blog post. That is a fun event, but definitely a lot of work, but so worth it. Opened it up, let some light in. Then I planked the ceiling, sprayed the ducts, and then you can see that really thin trim there on the doors. That's part of this manufactured Gunnison home. I cut new trim and just added it to the trim that was there. Beefed it up, made it nice and chunky, a little more of a statement. It just overall makes it a better clean feel, not so manufactured. Then I painted a color that's called slate green that is similar to the color I used in my kitchen cabinets. And just like in our bedroom, I planked the wall with Luan, ripping that in strips. Painted it white, and it nice cleaned up, just so much more light in this space. I know you can imagine what it feels like now to just have that refreshed. The floors are kept the same, but we did add baseboard, painted that as well in that same slate green. Then on to the doors themselves. This was an easy project as far as just the process goes. It's just cutting strips, gluing them on. The one thing I want to recommend is when you're doing one side of the door, you want to flip it over and make sure you drill the holes for handles and carve out notches with my coping saw there to get the hinges to fit. For the most of the doors, I hung them, then painted them, but I did one practice door outside before I did all of them at once. Hey guys, here in my teeny tiny bathroom, but I wanted to keep you updated on what we've been working on. This is our hall right here that has 6 doors with a 7th out in the living room, and if you've been following me along on social media, you've seen that we have hollow core doors that I've been waiting to replace with solid wood. I actually found some antique ones that were painted, began to strip them and realized my life is more important than hours spent stripping paint off of old doors. So instead of that, I decided to go ahead and add these pieces here to our hollow core doors so that it would make it look like an antique door. Well, it's fine this way, and I'll have the steps outlined for you either on my blog or you can just see the steps in the video here. What I want to do is, while the painted surface is fine, you could totally leave it like this, I wanted them to look like wood, some aged wood, even whitewashed wood. So what I'm going to be doing here is showing you how I take a tool called a wood graining tool. It goes in different directions that you can use to create the different parts. You can see it has little teeth on there to create different grains, because you know when wood is aging, it opens the grain. So what I'm going to show you real quick, I have other videos I'll have in the cards above, how I've used the same tool on a little kid's play set, on a bin that I made look like wood. Lots of different ways you can use this tool. It's super handy, and it comes with many pieces. This is just an open grain tool. You can use to create different widths of grain, and there's a smaller size, there's some other accessories. I think the set is $12 investment, and worthwhile definitely for the many uses I've already gotten out of it. So you can see I've painted the door a base color that would be like the wood tone that I want to peek out. For the grain, you can use a dark color, you can use a light color like I'm going to be using today. You can also see I've done my garage door with the faux wood technique that is a little different than this. I didn't use a graining tool because the grain was already in the vinyl in the garage door, but I drew that out to make it look like a wood garage door. I have a link for that down below over on my blog. So real quick, get started, I'll show you a snippet, and then you'll get the general gist idea. So I'm going to grab a little bit of my paint here. Not a whole lot, I'm not going for full coverage. And I'll start on the side. Mind you, get the back of the door up so it resists me. Just going to brush it on, and I work in patches. I can't do the whole thing at once necessarily, meaning the whole door, but you want to try to get a good run. So I'm going to go, you won't see me, I'm going to go down and enough on there that I can drag it off. Okay, taking my tool, I try to hold this steady here. If you can see, you'll see me coming past. I'm rocking and dragging, making different size grain. Alright, now in some of the doors I've done laying down on the surface because I did both sides of the door. I hung it, make it a lot easier to get both sides quickly. You can use these teeth here to either drag to get an open grain effect, leave it the way it is, but generally that's it. I will take some close-up shots, you can get a better idea. I'll do this panel here just to show you. The only tip I want to give is to keep it light in the paint, but also working like the grain would naturally look. Like I'm not going to go up and down on here. If you were to put a panel in here, most likely the grain would go side to side. But also keep your tool clean. If you'll get gummed up every once in a while, just take an old toothbrush or bristle brush or something to pull it out of the grain so that it'll continue to work. And it's okay if you get like that sloppy, because honestly I'm going for rustic, not real worried. Get a little heavier here. So kind of like a dry brush technique. Again, put on and drag. You can kind of see it's not catching. Sometimes if you need to, you can go back over. Also, you want to flip it to get a different effect, so you're not getting the same grain over and over and over. Because like real wood, it's going to be, okay, I'm going to add a bit more there, so I actually get some graining effect, and maybe go the other way. Alright, do my teeth. using the basic latex paint, just the glidden. And again, I'm gonna deepen it so you see how I can keep going back and back, but definitely keeping it light. Alright, not sure how well that shows up for you, but you can kind of looking like it's not showing right here, but there is a green on my view. So anyway, I'm going to keep going, get my doors done. Thought you'd enjoy seeing this. Alright, last thing I wanted to add was, I'm going to tip the camera up here so you can see. Another thing that makes sense aside from the panel going this way is, see that I stopped at a joint? Your board grain would go this way, then your grain would go this way. So you don't want to drag all the way across. Do like the boards are placed to follow that to make it look like it's real. Couldn't be happier with the outcome of these. It's brightened it up. We have the wood effect. It's totally budget friendly, and I can do it anywhere in the house. Here's my son helping me add some LED lighting. It's no more hair tangling. Bonus is I put an extra light above the hall closet there where my linens are. So much better. Ta-da! My hallway remodeled primarily by myself with the help of some of my kids. I couldn't do it without them for sure. They definitely helped me do not only this, but the other rooms in the house and the one that's right behind us here that I'll eventually be revealing to you. Man, this was a job, but for this little space with all the detail that I had to put in, from tearing down the ceiling to rewiring the lights, that's my husband was up in the attic with that one, and just fine-tuning everything. But what a difference. I wouldn't trade what we did for the world. That was one of the best things, especially that sconce that would catch my hair. The ceiling, if you just were doing something like this, you would brush your knuckles on that stippled ceiling and it would hurt. So I can't say enough for DIY. I know that not everybody maybe wants to do it or has the ability to do it. You can always barter with somebody to trade what you can do for what they can do. But don't ever say it's, it's too hard, too unfathomable. It always just takes a willing spirit. All right, again, I'm Larissa at Prodigal Pieces. I hope to see you here soon for more DIYs and tutorials. Bye.